Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, USA 90 Day Fiancé. Welcome to Update New Gossip. 90 Day Fiancé star David Toborowsky finally shared his life plans with fans after welcoming another daughter with Annie Suwan. David and Annie met in Thailand and moved to the US together when Annie got her K-1 visa. They saw some tough times in their marriage, but with hard work and love from 90 Day Fiancé fans, they were able to taste success. However, David and Annie decided to leave their new life of comfort in the U.S. behind when Annie became pregnant with their first baby. David recently posted a family photo of himself with Annie and baby Minthira from their outing to a beach in Jomtien near Pattaya. He spoke about how much fun he had there with his wife and child as they had lunch and enjoyed the fresh air. He wrote that he was so lucky to have an amazing wife like Annie, who is an amazing mom and partner. David looked so comfortable in his new surroundings that a fan, at AntCar131, asked, "Have you moved there?" A different fan, at OneBadCrazyGirl2005, replied, "For now." And David liked that "for now" comment. David recently shared that his mother-in-law, Annie's mom, has received her green card. This update strongly suggests she's preparing to join Annie and David in Arizona. With that in mind, David's hints about living in Thailand only temporarily make more sense now. Their baby, Minthira, already holds dual citizenship, and Annie is a U.S. citizen as well. The couple never intended to live in Thailand permanently. Their time there was likely centered around family support during Annie's pregnancy, and now they seem ready to return to the U.S. for the next chapter of their lives. Annie and David had always hoped to be in Thailand if Annie became pregnant. Without support in the U.S., being near her mother and extended family made the experience of pregnancy and delivery far more manageable. Now that baby Minthira is a few months old, the couple appears to be preparing for their return to the United States. Annie's mother will be joining them, which will make Annie's transition into motherhood smoother. Meanwhile, David is focused on work and has already sold one of his apartments in Thailand. He's now planning to sell the second one as well. David and Annie credit 90 Day Fiancé for their success, but David recently hinted that he might be done with the franchise. Still, without occasional spin-offs, they risk fading from reality TV and losing social media followers who discovered them through the show. Stepping away may not be the best choice, especially now that they've become parents. David's son is also getting married soon, and he has already welcomed his future daughter-in-law into the family. After recently reconciling with his children, David likely doesn't want to miss such a meaningful milestone in their lives. David Toborowsky from 90 Day Fiancé may not be returning to the United States anytime soon, possibly due to his wife, Annie Suwan. David, a 56-year-old father of four, met his soulmate, Annie, nearly a decade ago. He was drawn to her joyful personality and quickly proposed after only a few days of dating. As David learned more about Thai culture and traditions, he gifted his in-laws 2 water buffaloes in exchange for Annie's hand in marriage. David and Annie's journey to the altar was featured in 90 Day Fiancé Season 5. Over the years, David accomplished several of his goals and milestones. He improved his financial situation, overcame previous depression, and maintained a healthy lifestyle. David also dropped multiple pant sizes, becoming the fittest version of himself. In 2023, he witnessed the birth of Annie's nephew Navin. He recognized that Annie deserved the happiness of motherhood and began consulting doctors to find the best solution to fulfill her dream. In 2024, David and Annie chose to undergo an IVF procedure and successfully became pregnant. They relocated to Thailand and welcomed their daughter, Minthira, with their loved ones by their side. David and Annie welcomed their daughter in March 2025, however, they haven't returned to the United States yet, prompting rumors that they have permanently settled in Thailand. There are several reasons why David and Annie haven't yet moved back to their home in Arizona, but the most obvious one is Annie's postpartum journey. As of June 2025, Annie is only 2 to 3 months into her postpartum journey. Therefore, it is entirely understandable for her not to return to the United States yet, as she requires time and care to heal her body. Annie prefers to stay in Thailand because she has access to benefits and perks that are not available in the United States. She is much happier there because being there allows her to spend time with her family members. She can also rely on her mother and siblings to take care of her daughter, giving her time to focus on her personal goals. In Thailand, Annie gets the time she needs to recover. Therefore, it makes sense for her not to want to move to Arizona, as she doesn't have many people to care for her there. Staying with Annie in Thailand may have caused David to be distant from his children in the United States. David, who has 3 adult children named Ashley, Brittany, and Jacob, may find it challenging to remain involved in their lives due to his additional responsibilities as a father to Annie's baby. A few years ago, David's oldest daughter, Ashley, expressed her concerns, stating that she disapproved of her father's new relationship. Actually accused him of neglecting her and her siblings, saying that he should have been more present in their lives. He often likes and comments on his daughter's posts to show that he is involved in her life. David is also in touch with his son, and recently shared the news that his son was marrying his soulmate. Although David is trying hard to keep in touch with his adult children, he would likely find it easier to maintain contact with them if he were in the United States. Living in Thailand has probably added unnecessary stress for David. Annie isn't returning to America because of her new aspirations. She has developed new goals since moving to Thailand. A few years ago, Annie's primary objectives were to start a family and run her business. However, she has since changed her plans and now intends to pursue other dreams. She has decided to enter the agriculture business in Thailand with hopes of becoming a farmer. Recently, David discussed Annie's goals on his Instagram. It appears that David feels compelled to remain in Thailand for the sake of his wife. He is committed to helping her achieve her dream of becoming a successful farmer and providing her with support. This is why he is unable to leave her in Thailand and go back to Arizona. In a recent post, David alluded to his future in Thailand while discussing Annie's dream. He mentioned selling one of his condos in Thailand to support Annie's dream, suggesting that he may eventually move to a more rural area of Thailand to help facilitate her farming aspiration. It's not incorrect to assume that David's prolonged stay in Thailand is related to his commitment to Annie. However, it's essential to acknowledge that David has few responsibilities in the United States beyond spending time with his 3 adult children. David's children from his previous marriage are now independent and living their own lives. They aren't young children who need David's help. Truth be told, David's children are scattered all over the United States, so even if he were to return to Arizona, it wouldn't make a significant difference. It appears that David is currently facing challenges as he works to maintain all of his relationships. He is unable to leave his wife, with whom he recently had a daughter, as well as his adult children, who had previously accused him of abandoning them. However, David has managed the long-distance situation effectively so far while residing in Thailand. He has stayed in touch with his kids through social media. The 90-Day Fiancé alum has also adapted well to Annie's family and culture, making Thailand feel like home and helping him avoid feelings of homesickness.